So today I'm near Allentown at the Lehigh Trexler Game Preserve. You might know it if you've ever been to the Lehigh Valley Zoo. It's the area that goes around the Lehigh Valley Zoo. I'm here doing some hiking in a beautiful, misty, rainy, foggy day. But this year, if you don't get out in the rain and the fog and the mist, you're not going to get out. So I'm going to show you around a little bit. We're going to check out definitely see some wildlife, because there's a ton of wildlife here. Plus there's the bison pens and the elk pens, so you'll be able to see some bison and elk and stuff like that. So check it out. So there's a parking lot off of Orchard Road. And then at the Trexler Environmental Center, that's where we're going to start. You go down that path right there, the border trail. So this place is all about Henry Trexler. He was a philanthropist and an environmentalist. His father owned a lumber yard in the early 1900s. He joined the Pennsylvania National Guard. Rose to the rank of, when he left the National Guard, he was a brigadier general. So everybody called him General Trexler. So he came out of the Guard, and him and his brother took over the lumber yard. And birds yelling. Took over the lumber yard, and then he actually partnered. He did a lot in the Lehigh Valley. He partnered up with a couple guys and for the Lehigh Portland Cement Company, which was like the biggest cement company. It still is a huge cement company in Pennsylvania. He was also like a huge environmentalist. He was out on his ranch in Jackson Hole, Missouri, and he saw the bison, and he was so fascinated by the bison and wanted to protect the bison that he started buying property here to protect the bison. So the bison are still here. We'll go up and hopefully we'll see them today, and they're not laying down. Some of the bison actually are at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. So he also bought a lot of land up north, Poconos area, that became Hickory Run State Park. So yeah, he was a big environmentalist. So this whole area actually was closed as a preserve until like 2003 or so. And then the trust opened it up and put, trails and stuff like that through that. So it's actually really neat. It's really well preserved. It really feels like, a lot of wildlife. Even on a rainy day like this, there's birds flitting around everywhere. So, yeah, definitely come check it out. One of the other cool things about Henry Trexler was he was a big advocate of the Scouts. So he created the first scout troop in the Lehigh Valley, and he opened up the scout camp, Trexler Scout Reservation, which is a cool scout camp up here. So yeah, big advocate of scouting, a big outdoorsman, big philanthropist. So he's a heck of a guy. Not 100% sure what this is. This is at the bottom of the hill. I've looked at this a couple times. Looks like an old feed barn. I know this was a preserve for a while, so I don't know if they fed the animals out here too. Whoop. Squirrel went running up the hill. Definitely old, whatever it is. Don't want to go too far, it's a little rotted out. Definitely falling apart a little bit. Ooh, chipmunk. He's just sitting there looking at me. It's okay, I'm looking at him too. I think he's a tree, because he ain't moving. Funny chipmunk story, I just went backpacking with my son last weekend, and it was in the middle of the night, and we hammock camp. So he heard a chipmunk, I think it was a chipmunk, jumped on top of a ridge line, which is the line that runs over the top of the hammock, and it came down like from his feet to his face type area, and he freaked out a little bit. So after you come down the hill there, you're going to come across a road. We're still on that green triangle trail, and it's going to go straight across. So up that way, this is the exit if you've ever been to the Lehigh Valley Zoo. The elk pens are up that way. We're going to walk up and around the back end of them. The bison are up that way too. And we're going to walk down across the road here. Go across the creek. Hopefully not get completely wet. But, you know, shoes are already soaked, so whatever. And we're going to go keep on going. One thing with the dew and the mist, it really accentuates the spider webs around. And that is a wolf spider nest. You can see the hole there where he kind of hides in until something lands on his webs there. So that's always kind of cool to see when you're walking in the mist. You see spider webs everywhere. There's another one in there. There's this hole. Once you come down that hill, it comes into a little rest stop. You know, has a porta potty and stuff like that. I'm going to go left over to the Geiger's bridge. This is the Jordan. And this is the spot when anybody who was a kid who came to the Lehigh Valley Zoo, you remember this spot. This is the spot when you left that you get to drive across the creek. So as you leave the Lehigh Valley Zoo, you come down and you drive across the creek. It was always one of those neat things that pretty much any kid you talk to remembers that part. The Jordan is a really good trout creek. Really neat trout stream. I am actually going to take the plunge into fly fishing this year. It's one of the new things I'm going to learn. So we'll see what kind of disaster that is. You can see a whole bunch of little fry swimming around in there. Got a great blue heron across the creek there. Kind of looking at me. Probably hunting for this fry that we saw earlier. These things are always, they're like dinosaurs. Huge birds. Pretty though. Oh, I wonder if he sees something. He's looking. Mallard swimming down the Jordan as I'm being eaten alive by... So my last little snippet got cut off when I was saying I was being eaten alive by mosquitoes. Because as I was filming, I had 5 land on my hand. So yeah, that area was really bad. So this is Geiger's Bridge. It's a covered bridge over the Jordan. So again, these things, they amaze me. Just the construction. They put this little rubber mat walkway along it. Lots of covered bridges in Pennsylvania. This one needs a paint job. Yeah. And after we head out the other side, we're going to go right along the other side of the Jordan and back to where we were, where we came down. I don't think I've ever seen squirrels together like that before. Like 4 of them right there. wonder if it's mama and the babies. They're just all kind of hanging up there. You can tell it's fall, leaves are starting to change. This is a little footbridge that takes you back across the Jordan instead of walking across the water. You can see the fording point right there. I always like that view. So after you come across the bridge, you can make a sharp left-hand turn and start climbing. This trail back here actually takes you up behind the elk pens. If you're leaving the zoo and the elk pens are on your left, this whole area is the area that's behind that, up on the hill. So when we get up to the top, we'll see if we can see the elk from up there. I've always seen them down close to the fence, never up top, but we shall see. So we're at the top of the hill, above the elk pens. You can see them down there. Mosquitoes. If it would zoom. We're going to be walking down there in a bit and hopefully get a better view. So we came down that hill over there from the environmental center, which is up top, up there. Holy crap. And the mosquitoes are back. Eat me alive. So we'll keep going. So it's kind of foggy, but when you get to the top of the hill, you can see the Lehigh Valley Zoo down there. On a bright and sunny day, it's definitely some of the best views around the Lehigh Valley. But not today. Today's just gray, gray, gray. When we get to the top of the hill, we're going to turn right. This is the exit road. It's a one-way, and it's not the only people coming in and out of it are leaving the zoo. So it's not very heavily traveled. So you just walk down here. You got the bison pens on your left-hand side there. And when we get down further, we'll get back to the elk pens, but the bottom part of it. So let's check out the bison, see if they're out. So there's our bison herd out in the field there. You get a true sense of like especially when you're around them for real. I mean, if you've never been around bison before, I've never got the privilege of going out west or anything else. Never really come to realize how truly massive these creatures are. I couldn't imagine what it'd be like back in the 1800s, 1700s, back in the west. There's the young one. There's a calf out there. He's just the sheer numbers of them out there. You know, it's a shame they were almost hunted to extinction. But they're beautiful beasts. So Henry Trexler loved these guys. He said when he was out in Missouri, he saw them and he wanted to protect them. So this is his herd. So you can see them for yourself if you come out here. You can actually drive through here through the entrance of the game preserve, or the Lehigh Valley Zoo. You don't have to pay to drive up here, but you do have to pay to get in the zoo, obviously. So beautiful creatures. K. See? I just did a 10K. So here's our elk. Kind of checking me out. So Pennsylvania does have elk. Up in actually Elk County, there's some places that you can go to kind of watch the herds. Again, they're huge. Big creatures. Hi guys. Yep. Beautiful. Nope, the other guys are down there. They're feeding in the little roadside pen. But you can see these guys again too when you leave the zoo. They'll be on the pens on the right hand side or left hand side when they're leaving. Just kind of cleaning each other off. There's a whitetail that made its way into the elk pen over there. Just kind of checking this out. Couldn't be more safer from hunters, I guess. I mean, not like they're going to come in the pen. So coming down the hill from the elk pens behind me there, kind of completes our loop. We're going to end up at the bottom of the hill, this little steep hill that we climbed down from the environmental center where we parked. So altogether it's like 7 miles. It's not very long. I mean, there's one really big hill. Definitely saw a lot of nature. Definitely a lot of stuff out, even for a rainy, kind of miserable day. So we'll head back up to the environmental center. Congratulations, Grad. Your balloon is messing up a environmental area. Balloons suck. So we're gonna end our day at the top of the environmental center. The elk pens are right here. On a clear day, it's a gorgeous, like 360-degree view from up here. Today's not one of those days, but take my word for it. It's really cool looking. So Trexler Game Preserve. There's tons of trails. The border trail, I think, is like 9 miles. The little loop that I like to do is like 6-ish, maybe 7. So definitely come check it out. You're definitely bound to see wildlife, and being a game preserve, there's tons of wildlife out here. Even if it's just to see the elk and the bison. You don't really get to see those in outside environments like this. So one of the things I kind of want to do with these videos is just show some of the local places to get out and enjoy nature. So when I was a scout leader, one of my biggest pet peeves when I was training other scout leaders was they always said there was they couldn't figure out things to do. So thing to do. So yeah, like, subscribe, check it out. Keep an eye out for other videos, and have a great day.